Papa Sugar, say yeah!
Okay, so this is Carbros Podcast.
Live.
Yeah.
Although it won't really be live.
No.
This is recorded live.
This is no different than
This setting is quite different.
any of the other ones, yeah.
If any of you have noticed.
Yeah. So we're in Monterey
Yes.
at Car Week, day 2, the end of day 2.
Which is Friday.
It's Friday. We're at our Airbnb doing a podcast.
Our manor.
We're at our manor. We're at our villa.
Our estate.
It's just Mike and I, and Mike's brother, who's not here.
John had to go to Disneyland.
John went to Disneyland for whatever reason. Hopefully you can hear this.
If not, we're very sorry and we're not going to do anything.
Yeah, like the audio setup's weird, so this is what it is. But yeah. We just started rolling without planning this.
Yeah.
So we'll
I think it's
figure
kind
it
of a
out.
recap of what's happened so far.
Yeah. So day 2. Day 1 we got here and like
We
checked the place out.
We went to the track for a bit.
Yeah.
Laguna.
And then today was the Quail. We went to the Quail. We got into the Quail.
The Quail was kind of like the highlight of this trip.
Yeah,
I
the
would say.
Quail is a pretty big deal. We applied for media credentials for the Quail. If you don't know what the Quail is, if you don't know what Monterey Car Week is,
just turn this off. We don't even want you to listen.
Go away. Monterey Car Week is every year in Monterey. There's a series of kind of high-profile, cool events.
Yeah, there's
car-related
the historic
things.
races. There's several different auctions.
Historic
there's
races,
a
auctions.
handful of pretty big shows.
Tons of shows, all sorts of stuff over a weekend, a couple days in a
probably
weekend.
like 5 days total for the hardcore.
And so it's a big deal. People come from all over.
Yes.
And the whole area is just transformed.
Yes.
There are people driving.
The cool thing about here is you could come without even specifically planning to go to one of these events.
Yeah.
And just see cool shit everywhere. Like sitting in traffic is actually sort of fun.
Yeah. The cars you see just driving around are nuts.
Yes.
Like nuts. Not just like, damn, there's a lot of like lowered Civics, you know,
These are like
Mustangs.
really nice loads.
Yeah. No, it's like people are just out driving.
In like a couple minutes we saw like Mira, F50.
Yeah.
Just like
we were driving, we went to
around.
like a little cruise night thing. We were driving back and we saw an F50 pass us. And then like tons of McLarens driving around and stuff.
McLarens are kind of like the Civics.
Yeah, there's tons of
Car
McLarens.
Week.
And the cool thing is, like, not only do you get to see cars that you'd really never see before, a lot of people are like punching it.
Yeah,
and,
they're
like,
here to show off.
getting after it and stuff.
They're here to flaunt.
Yeah. So it really feels like the special car that people keep in their garage and like polish with a diaper and stuff. They bring to this. And so you get
That's
to
why
see.
you brought the 4Runner.
Yeah, I brought the 4Runner, which turned out to be the better. Come on, like
Yes,
it's like
that's true.
It'd be cool to come in a cool car, but if you're here to work and haul gear around and like that kind of stuff, like I don't know. But I immediately like when I got here, it's like, damn, I want to come back for fun with the M5
Or the Fury.
or the Fury
That's a whole.
or the Fury.
I'm sure some people were probably expecting us to bring the Fury to this.
And I've seen a couple comments that are like, take it to Pebble Beach, and it's like,
we would very much.
We want to, for sure.
Yes. The problem is that car's a major piece of shit.
Yeah. And maybe this is like, we talked about doing this. This isn't the official discussion, but like, we want to bring that car here and make no mistake, it would be hilarious bringing it here. There are just endless opportunities for that
If there was
car
ever a place for that car to go.
This is Mecca for that car.
Shenanigans.
But it needs
a lot.
I would not drive it around unless it was reliable and not like there's no threat of it burning at a stoplight or something.
As we mentioned before, the construction on that thing is very shoddy.
It's shoddy, but like you could fix it.
Yeah,
it's not unfixable.
Right.
But it needs
time and money.
I would guess on the high end, like $5,000.
Just
go through it and just
a lot of it isn't
turn
even the
into
parts are
something.
that expensive. It's just either us taking the time or
just
paying
effort,
someone.
just fixing it properly. I think it's like $3,000 maybe, but like up toward $5,000. So we might do And we're not going to pay that. Like, let's be, we're not going to put $5,000 into a car to make a video or two.
Even though it'd be sweet.
Even though it'd be sweet, that like
it's not gonna
40,000 people are going to view.
It is not going to add any value to the car either.
Right. And so it's like, but we're down to do it.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be a Kickstarter or something.
Right. We'll sell a lot of shirts.
Who knows? But like that's in the books for a maybe
2019.
Yeah, because it would be like everything we do here.
We just
is almost constant. Like, imagine if we had the ferry here. Like, we were at the Quail, just as an example. We'll get into the Quail, but like one thing, like there was an Enzo there. It's like, God, imagine. Not that we'd get the ferry into the Quail.
Pull the right strings.
Yeah, but just being here in that thing. I mean, that car, driving that around.
It would be nonstop, like.
It'd be nuts. That thing would get attention. A lot of cars, I feel like, you drive a McLaren, it's probably not going to get attention.
Yeah, right.
Like,
here's my 911.
Yeah. But I remember when we first got it running, you would come up, because we were going to shoot the 918 thing. And it was like, maiden voyage, let's go into town. Let's go to Chipotle.
Let's go get some
and we go to Chipotle in this car, and it's like, do you remember we pull up to an intersection?
Everything would stop.
The life stops when you pull up in that car. We pull up to a four-way stop, pretty busy intersection, people with foot traffic.
On the sidewalk.
It's like a downtown setting, people shopping. People stop. And this is people holding groceries and pushing strollers.
Walking dogs.
You know, it's like people who have something to do stop.
And that's not even a very like car friendly.
Yeah, and that's in like a super just like whatever town where people don't care about cars. It's like that car, people just don't know what's going on. It's
bewilderment
and like
lots of confusion.
My memory is like silence fell. It's just like it's that crazy. And so bringing it here would just be that'd be amazing.
It would be a trip.
Yeah. So so circling back, we applied for media credentials for the Quail.
Yes.
Which is how when you go to these shows, you apply ahead of time and say, I'm with this outlet.
Right.
And can I have media credentials, which means
you're too poor to pay the money.
Yeah, here you go. You can come to this thing for free, and you're gonna do coverage, you know. And so everything we've ever applied to as Car Bros, we've gotten in, which isn't a ton of stuff, but it's like crazy
satisfaction.
Yeah, it's always like, all right, I sent in the thing, but
let's plan to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
instead.
it's probably not going to happen, and it has, including the Quail, which is crazy.
I guess we should probably kind of describe what the Quail is.
Yeah, so the Quail is
it's sort of like a concourse, but not like it's not like competitive.
Yeah, it's just a really high-end car show,
essentially.
Like that's the
and
that's the basic.
It's like privately owned vehicles along with tons of manufacturers.
Yeah, there's manufacturers there.
A couple helicopters.
It's just like oozing money.
Yes,
it's all on this like golf course setting, basically. 500 cars, maybe.
I don't even know if it's that.
200
cars.
Yeah,
it's a couple hundred. Yeah.
But very special cars.
Yes,
and very nice examples of special cars, just rare stuff.
And the hospitality is
tons of food. It's like 5 different stations.
All you can eat.
Over the top. All you can
drink.
Eat. There was a caviar and oyster caviar champagne oyster bar was one of the booths, and it's just dudes as fast as they can put out oysters, and you just roll up and take as many as you want. And they said they had 6,000 oysters. And they're just going to put them out until they're gone.
Just going.
Yeah. Which if I wasn't like, I'd love to go to that event not working, which I don't know how I would get there because I'm not. Tickets are really expensive, like $2,500 or something.
I don't know if they're that much. They're a lot, and they like sell out. It's not like you could not have walked up to the gate and bought one, even at full price.
It's like it's really hard to go to, but it's awesome when you're there.
Yes.
But
it's probably one of those bucket list things.
Yeah, bucket list things, I would say.
Like, at some point.
It was pretty special. Yes. It's probably the best car show I've ever been to.
Oh, yeah.
It's
very
cool.
curated.
So we started to shoot a video there, which will probably launch before you see this, I'm guessing, because this will be like 2 weeks from now.
Right, or sometime around the...
Yeah.
Let's just say the video turned out awesome.
Yeah, the video's in the works. It's coming along.
Yeah, we have
We're
some
always
things
like
down.
every time we shoot a video, especially like this, where it's like on location and it's not. You can't really plan the whole thing. You can kind of plan it.
Like everything's kind of up to chance.
But a lot of it, especially when you're dealing with interview type things, it's like we don't know who we're going to see.
And potentially embarrassing yourself.
Like really embarrassing yourself. And so we had a few, we'll see what it turns into. But like there are a few moments at this show. Like I'm pretty confident just in general about approaching someone and kind of making an ass of myself.
Much more so than me.
Yeah, as long as it's not like I'm going to do physical harm.
Right.
To someone. It's all in good fun.
Or like I'm going to make fun of you in front of you.
Yeah. And so it's like, I'm usually down with that. But this was like, there was an opportunity. Not really. That's the other thing is, there's never an opportunity. It's just, do you have the balls to walk up to someone and do this thing? Because like if you said, like, I'm with Car Bros and we'd like to have a satirical interview. If you laid it out, I don't think it would work.
Why?
They would just say no. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like you just kind of roll up and like ask for forgiveness after.
Yeah.
Which is pretty high stress, high stakes kind of stuff.
The big boy.
Yeah, and so it's like, but we've done it in the past, especially at SEMA. It was like booth girls.
Yeah, SEMA's a very like approachable.
Yeah, and so I was like, whatever. That was all good fun.
Yes.
But once it gets into like, oh, this is like a person. This is like a real,
a well-known.
This is like somebody who matters. That's a little tricky. And this was like, there were two instances. One was, Horatio Pagani.
The man himself.
Yeah, which is like, Pagani is the guy.
Mr. Pagani.
Yeah, the name. Very much related to the car company. He's like there, and it's like, oh, we should go talk to him, and like mispronounce. The joke was like, we'll mispronounce his name and stuff, and ask him like, does he like Accord or Camry better? Which is like funny if you can pull it off, but it's like we don't know him. It can go wrong, I'm not sure. So we didn't do it. We didn't do that one. And the other one was. I don't even know the guy's name still. Someone else pointed him out, but it's the CEO of Bugatti. Who's the CEO of Lamborghini.
Oh.
I mean, it's like, this dude's fucking somebody.
Yeah,
and I'm going to roll up and ask him about, like, the Bluetooth connectivity in the Veyron.
I believe you're going to tell him, like, your Veyron, like, the Bluetooth connectivity was spotty.
I couldn't get it to sync with my Motorola Razr or something. It was like the beginnings of the joke. And so it's like we stood there for like 20 minutes, like, fuck, trying to like psych yourself up.
And it's not like he was, standing there like waiting for someone.
He's not like chilling, like, who wants to talk to me?
Right.
He's like doing important.
Right.
He's at a show. He's probably booked up with interviews. Representing his brand. So we didn't do that one either. And so it's
maybe
like,
we did, and it'll.
Yeah, you'll see. I don't know. maybe tomorrow he'll be there, and we'll do it. It's like, it's got to feel right to me.
Right.
And those ones didn't. Yes. But I always walk away like, damn. Like, we left that one. Left that one on the table.
Now someone's going to steal that joke.
Yeah, go ahead.
Make their own Car Bros.
Go ahead. So, yeah, overall, super cool event. Oh, except, like, do you want
no, just bad timing. I, like, came down with a stomach viral bug.
So,
thing,
like,
literally as we rolled into town.
Yeah, like, we were trying to get there at 8 a.m. this morning. 8 to 10 is, like, media-only hours. So it's like, you kind of got exclusive access to the show before it opens.
Right.
And so it's like, we're already a little bit late. We're waiting for Mike's brother. And so it's like, we're hanging out at Will Call waiting for him. And Mike's like,
I was just like,
I think I have to throw up. Just like out of nowhere. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, fuck. So it's like, you ended up going back and like.
I didn't actually throw up. I just came very close to it and just didn't feel
so
full
it's like,
energy.
It just kind of was off the bat.
But the worst thing is like, there could not be a worse place to like not want to, like not be able to eat.
Yeah.
The all you can eat, like best food.
Oh yeah. Well, it's two things. It's one, the worst place to get sick.
Right.
You're on a golf course next to just
probably,
like.
I was like, oh man, just imagine like.
It's easy to let your mind run off into like, I'm going to like end up puking on a Mira or something.
Puked on the CEO of Bugatti.
Yeah, or just something. Because it's like, you're at a car show. Yeah. The bathrooms are nice, but they're not next to you always.
If shit goes down.
Yeah. So it's like,
fortunately, I haven't actually puked, and hopefully,
yeah. So maybe it turns out to be but it's like that was a factor. So
Yes.
1 is like that's the worst place to be sick.
Yes.
But 2, it's the worst place to not have an appetite because it's just like, hey man, as much champagne.
This is the thing that people wait like
high-end bourbon. It's like they're not pulling punches on this.
Yes, you could have just stuffed your face all day long.
Which I ate. But it's like if I was there for fun, I would have eaten oysters until I got sick. Right, I think because why not?
You would have made yourself sick.
Because why not? Like they're there.
So there could not be a worse day to come down with like I should not eat.
It was.
I should keep the stomach empty for a while.
I didn't wear sunscreen. It was overcast when we started, and I didn't wear sunscreen. And I don't know if it shows up on the video. It's
you look like a.
I've just been like dousing myself with aloe, so it's like that was stupid.
I had some.
Yeah, I had it in the car, but it was far away.
Yeah.
So that was the Quail. We shot some stuff. Yeah, we'll finish the video.
Right.
Like it'll get done.
Right.
But
I think it'll be entertaining.
It'll be entertaining.
I think it'll be very similar to the LA Auto Show.
It's similar. We're kind of developing a car show style.
We're getting very unimaginative.
Yeah, we're honing in. Mm-hmm. So it'll.
I think some people like that.
Yeah, it'll be enjoyable. Mm-hmm. But then we've also got. We've got 3 very different videos in the mix that are coming,
right?
And that's one of them.
Yes.
The other one is closer to our kind of like cinematic,
right?
Scripted,
where we have like
kinda,
full control of it.
Yeah, it's more controlled and more
dumb.
Well, just like I always thought when we were doing the early stuff, like one of my goals was like, I want people to think there's way more people working on this than 2.
Too many 3.
Or 2 or 3.
If the 3rd doesn't have work.
Yeah, and so it's like, I was always like, Gimp-Con, it was like, man, I'd love to make something where it's like, yeah, it's not going to be as good as Gymkhana, but like I want to show them like, hey, 2 kids, can do this stuff. Like I was kind of like trying to prove it to myself that we could do that. And so another one that's being planned is more in line with that, more to our original, like, just
very easy to watch.
Yeah, just like this is so high value. I can't believe it's free. Like that's always kind of what I wanted to make, that kind of stuff. So it's closer to that. And then the third one is one that's not funny. That's one I'm working on, and it's more serious. And we'll see how that one is received.
It's not going to be. You don't mean serious as in like. We're taking a serious. You just mean like it's not loaded with jokes.
It's not like a detective.
It's still
drama.
It's still cool and fun to watch.
I think it's like if you're really into cars, you'll be into it, but you're not going to laugh at it.
You're not like making a political.
Yeah. It's not serious in that way. But you
just mean serious compared to what we usually make.
Yeah, and so it'll be different Carbro's flavor. But one thing that's like my motivation for that. So those are all coming in the next like 2 months or something. Right. Part of that for me is I've always read like when people write articles, they're always like parody car channel Carbros comes out with another thing, and it's like that's fine.
It's part of it,
but I don't like Carbros having a label. Like I want the videos to be entertaining.
We should define ourselves.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't like when it's turning into like, oh yeah, Carbros, they make those like silly, whatever videos. I don't like that, and I want it to just be known for they make really good. Really, I'd love it to be like, if you're an enthusiast, they're the channel. Because we'll probably never get there, but like that's the vision. It's just like they make all sorts of stuff, but all of it's crazy good.
Right.
And if you're into cars, it's like here finally is a channel for you. We cover all the bases, not just if you're into car humor, which like we're never gonna stop making that entertaining videos. But like I'd like it to be entertaining in many different ways, and just kind of like constantly be this beacon of what we think car content should be, and sort of like we're making a statement in some ways. Like this is what you should be doing. Like your stuff should at least be this good. It doesn't need to be the same. Please don't copy it. Do your own thing. But just like you should be trying this hard, and you should be making stuff.
Even with all the stuff out there, it's not that difficult to establish your own.
Like step up, So that's what the serious one is going to be. So we're going to try. I'm going to try that one.
Another thing is like we always get kind of envious of the people that their videos are literally always the same thing. Like,
That's true.
Where
they have like a product and it's repeatable.
Right. It's like DeMuro or whoever. It's like nothing changes in his videos except for the vehicle he's talking about.
Where like if you want to make from a business standpoint, that's how a company's goal is to make a product and then mass produce it. You know, so it's like Car Bros is so not that.
Yes.
But like kind of on purpose.
Yeah. By design.
Just because it's so different. So I don't know. I like that still. If we were trying to make money, that is not the way to make money.
Right.
Or at least not in the traditional sense.
Yeah, the like just ranking up views.
But yeah, that's where we're going with that a little bit. Because it's a good time to do it. Because like anyone you talk to who's like in the industry, or even people are pretty vocal about it, it's like whatever the current model is kind of not so good.
It seems to be fading.
It's just been done, and people are kind of sick of it. But it's like it's still there, and it's free, and it's still working. You know, it's not going to die overnight.
It'll hopefully shift.
But it's like, something needs to shift, and I always would love to be the one in any industry to like be be part of the reason that it changed. And so like those are things that are going on in our mind a little bit. Is just like what are some new ways we can take it, because we can. It's like the thing about not having advertising dollars and not even being like big. I mean, we're not even. That's why it's crazy that Car Bros gets accepted into press shows. It's like we're not even like.
We'll probably never get accepted.
Well, we don't get accepted twice.
Right.
But like we're not even like friendly with advertisers. Like we don't even remotely try.
We don't have a marketable product.
We're so not marketable. But like we don't even try. And so there's a ton of, by definition, freedom that comes with that. And so that's a pretty special thing. And I think we, maybe not super consciously, but we try to use that to our advantage. Because it's like, why not? Why not?
Right.
You know, it's a strength.
If you're not making money off of it, you should.
If you're not making money, you should way not make money.
You should you should just fucking do it because you really like it.
Yeah, because we can make content that you just couldn't make because either it's offensive or it's just not safe or whatever. Yeah, or both. Or you know, it doesn't have to just be offensive, but it just gives you a lot of creative freedom. To kind of do whatever you want, which I like.
Yes.
And so that's where we want to pivot somehow. And like I said, we're not going to stop what we've been doing.
Right.
Like that's always on our mind. Just how do we keep this constantly fresh?
Yeah, we don't want to get burnt out.
Because if anyone can move fast, we can. We can change shit, whoever. Like the only people we're gonna piss
John,
off.
you're fired. Now's as good as time as ever. Start, shift gears. Enjoy Disneyland.
We need to jettison some weight. Please just edit this podcast
and then never talk to us
and maybe a few more, and then but it's like we can be nimble because we don't have to check with anyone,
right?
You know, and it's like. We love our fans. I mean, there's part of me that's just like, that's so cool that like
they're actually into it.
There are people that exist that like what we do.
Right.
But like at the same time, we don't owe anyone anything. No one's paid us anything except like 19 people on Patreon or whatever. It's like you don't even really. You're just in debt to no one.
Right.
And so we want to use that always to. As a strength to deliver like the best, coolest product possible. And so, so that brings us to Monterey. You know, Monterey is part of it.
I mean, part of it's just like we like being here.
Part of it is, it's a cool car thing. It's weird. Like, I don't know that I'm into cars enough though to just come here for fun. Just certainly not multi-day. You know, like hang out at the track and just watch. Maybe I could, but it's like I like to come here to work, and then it's like, oh, but I also like cars, so we're here anyways.
Right. The old two birds with.
But it's like like the fun part to me is like you went to a place to have fun and you made something while you were there. To kind of like commemorate it or whatever. It's like, I don't know. But it has been neat. Nissan is the
featured
like marquee,
which is cool.
It's cool because they used to be so good,
right?
And so it's like there is a lot of material there.
Yes,
but like they have none of their new stuff there.
They have a Leaf and like a GTR.
Oh, is there a Leaf? Oh yeah, that's right.
You didn't see the Leaf? Come on.
That's right. And the GTR, which is just like, hey, please, does anyone think this thing's...
It's still here.
Hey, remember, like we make a cool car. But they have made a ton of cool stuff,
right?
You know, and it's like they've got stuff.
It's just
there.
weird because all the other featured marks, like in the past, it's always like this year we're celebrating Shelby, and like here's the new GT3 fit, like here's the car that like connects with that heritage.
Interesting. They use cool.
It to like Jag
roll out
Porsche, whoever, like any other things. It's always like
there's nothing.
Here's why we were cool and why we're still really cool.
Yeah, it's like. That would be crazy if they dropped a bomb. Like, here's our future plans. You know, and it's like we're going to unveil it.
Or they're going to build that IDX concept from like...
What was that, the 510 thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
Oh, dude, that's so sweet. They're like, nah.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, it's weird, like... I was looking at the 510. The 510 has become this, like, racing icon or whatever. But really, at the time, it was the equivalent of, like... their Accord.
Yeah, it was kind of. Well, I mean, it had some.
Did it? Sporty pretension.
I mean, I don't know about pretension.
I guess that's true. It had out of the box, they did.
It had IRS, and obviously the BRE cars kind of put it on the map for being more than just a commuter car.
But it's just like I guess the closest thing they have to that is
nothing.
Maybe the Infinity something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't even.
But it's not. It'd have to be affordable, so it does. I'm just saying, even the closest possible thing.
They have nothing.
But it's like there's totally room for a small rear drive, foundation
that isn't a luxury car.
That isn't luxury and isn't a sports car. It's not a BRZ.
Right. It's
It's like, oh, you can buy this.
It's like a Golf GTI with.
Yeah, a GTI segment.
Yeah.
That's rear wheel drive. Is there anything?
Not really.
A base 3 Series, maybe?
Maybe. That's like about as close as...
But the 3 Series has basically been abandoned for whatever people used to love it for.
Right.
It's like no one gives a shit about a 320i.
Especially the super base one.
Although maybe that's not true. Like, maybe they are. I recall reading, like, oh, if you really want a balanced 3 Series, get, like, the 4-cylinder because the weight distribution's better. Maybe that's the public.
Yeah, they're still not that cheap.
Yeah, they're not that cheap. And, like, I don't know. Maybe they just aren't. It's a BMW.
Especially, like, low-end BMWs. Like, even if they're good, they'll always have that, like, lease special, like, I wanted to look like I'm someone. This is what I got.
A base BMW these days, like, I took my car in for something. Maybe it was an airbag recall. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't driven a new BMW in a long time. Mm-hmm. And I got a loaner car.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it was like, new cars are so good.
Right.
Like, oh, this will be a treat, a new car, because new cars are so good.
I'm going to enjoy this.
I'm going to really enjoy this. And it was like a 3 whatever. It was a 4-cylinder one, but it's pretty base.
Yeah.
But it's still a 3 Series. Right. And it was like, man, this thing is like chintzy. It's like, just because it's new.
Right.
There's it's still a cheap low feeling. Yeah. That's kind of a bummer, because I feel like an E30... or something. I remember driving my friends, and it was like...
It felt pretty substantial.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's just because you couldn't... If you wanted to make a cheap car back in the early 90s or 80s, it was going to be like really cheap and shitty.
Right.
And if you wanted to make it remotely nice... It just had to be like quite a bit nicer. There wasn't
there wasn't like a middle ground.
Yeah, like they didn't have the factory automation or ability, just the manufacturing ability to make the equivalent of like fast casual.
Right.
You know, it's like it used to either be McDonald's
or
like
Subway.
steak dinner. Yeah. And now you've got Chipotle. Like now they've dialed in where it's like, yeah, this food is decent, but it's still relatively cheap and you can get it instantly.
Yeah.
Cars are kind of that way too.
And you don't feel bad when you eat it.
Yeah, it's like you can get a cheap car where it's like, this is decent. This is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But BMW it seems like they've dropped.
I
And
think.
I'm guessing Mercedes has too.
Well, I mean, they make awesome cars, but they're all.
Their
so-
high end is still
right,
amazing.
Yeah, they're all.
Like that's still amazing.
And maybe with the new 3 Series.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm not an expert in this area to be able to talk, but I remember being a little disappointed by that. But yeah, it's like I think Chevy kind of teased a concept for that, didn't they?
Yeah, that like 130, something R.
What was that called? Yeah, it was like a rear drive.
Kind of look a little bit like a 1 Series.
And it was
like a
trying to be, a 1 Series competitor. It's like, and it did look a little derpy.
Yeah.
Like, they probably shouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you were onto something there, you know?
Was cool.
Like, Ford could totally.
I guess the Cadillac ATS was kind of that car, but
That's
car,
true.
They like already stopped making it, or like they're gonna stop making that thing very soon and not replace it.
Yeah. I
It
always
shows that nobody should listen to anything we say.
Well, it's weird because like
cars
I always
will
like go
fail.
off on these rants, and then it's like, oh, such and such did it, and it sold like shit,
And now it doesn't
and then
exist
like
anymore.
yeah, and it doesn't exist, and then it's like I go back to like, okay, am I wrong? Which probably just
Yes.
by nature of things. What are the odds that a guy knows more than like 6 conglomerates?
Like billions of dollars in market research.
Yeah. Nah.
Look, I'm a guy.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm a dude at a table with a lapel mic.
Let me tell you how to run your
Doesn't know how to put sunscreen on. Like, fair enough. But like, then there's also part of me that's like, yeah, but they just didn't get it right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they just didn't nail it.
The other thing is like all the cars that are like the Chevy SS was, supposedly a failure.
Yeah.
Like, but then now, like, 6 months after they stopped making it, it's like people are fucking hot to get it. Like,
Are they?
I mean, probably not any more than it was, but
Yeah.
it's like people are still. It's like if a car is not popular,
It's such a weird,
that's such
like,
a big factor.
it's a weird, it's a paradox because
Yeah.
it's like, for a new car to be successful, by definition, it has to appeal to people who are going to pay MSRP for it.
Right.
You have to be able to sell the thing new.
Yes.
Because it's like, they can sell the shit out of it used.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, there are tons of buyers for a used Chevy SS
Right. But not-
at 20 grand.
And there were none at 50
with
or
like
whatever it
30,000 miles on it. Like
Yeah.
lightly used.
Just waiting.
Like, everyone wants that thing. But new, not quite.
cost. Right.
And so it's like, dang, how do you strike? That's such a tricky balance to strike, because if you listen to feedback on the internet
Yeah.
of car buyers, you're pretty much listening, like 90% of that kind of feedback is going to be that cheap audience.
Yes.
Like, car enthusiasts
Are pretty cheap.
mostly
Yeah.
are cheap.
Yes.
You know, it's
especially
like-
on the internet.
especially on the internet. It's like they want a good deal.
Yeah.
And so they're going to like wait till it's 3 years. You know, they're going to try to
Right.
buy at the bottom of the depreciation curve.
Right.
And it's like, where is that balance? And every once in a while they do nail it.
Yeah.
GT350R, like, fuck, man, that
yeah.
car.
Yeah. At the price, like people were like lining up to get it at.
Right now,
that price.
everyone wants it. I guess it's like, if you can get people to buy it new, the used part's gonna work.
Yeah. Well, I think the Chevy SS just seemed expensive at 50 grand.
Yeah.
Maybe because it was a Chevy.
Maybe.
Like it doesn't look. It looks cool, but it doesn't look like a $50,000 car by any means.
That's true. I always compare it. That one is like a special car to me
Yeah.
because it's very heavily compared to the E39 M5,
Which you drive.
which I own and am a huge fan of, and was since it was new, basically. But like, that car was sold, the M5, that M5 was sold for 3 years, basically. And there was a waiting list the entire time,
See, like,
almost the entire time.
They never just sat while
They
waiting for
those
people
were
to buy them.
hot
Yeah.
the whole time, and that in today's dollars was $100,000 car.
Right.
It was $100 grand for that car.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking about this the other day. It's like, why is a Chevy SS? Because it's like everyone who reviewed it tried so hard to be like, dude, it's just as good. And it's
Yeah.
like, I saw a few where they literally compared it
Right.
directly to the
Head-to-head.
M5.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's newer. It's like, this thing's better in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, if you like that thing, this thing is better.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking about it. It's like the E39, just that 5 Series,
Uh-huh.
when it came out, in 96 or whatever, people were losing their shit for it. Like, it was
Big
no
deal.
joke. People were like, this is one of the best cars ever made.
Right.
Just as a sedan.
Uh-huh.
Like, people were going crazy for that thing. And so when the M5 came out,
it was like already built on.
yeah, it was like actually the story of it. Oh, this doesn't need to turn into like an M5.
Let me tell you why this car that I own is so great.
Let me tell you why the prices of these should go up so I can then sell mine on Bring a Trailer. But it was like the 540 was going to be the hot car. Right. And so they put a ton of effort into the 540. Yeah. And that's why those things are really good.
Right.
A 540 manual is a desirable car, and those are going up in value. And then they decided to do an M5.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like they weren't planning on it. And so it's like they took a hot-rodded car and hot-rodded it
more
even further. Yeah, and it's like there's a lot about the E39 M5 that is like one of the least M-cars. Like, it's one of the lowest horsepower per liter.
It's not that much different from...
Well, it's quite a bit different in cool ways, but it's just not that racy.
Right.
Like, it really just is kind of a muscle car. It'll do fine on a track, and people track them, and that motor is, like, pretty bulletproof. But it's like, there's so much low-end torque.
Yeah, it's very accessible.
It's just, it's literally like a 540i on steroids, not the racy version of a 5 Series. It's just like they took a thing that already was a thing and like,
improved it.
Shit, what can we do to this? So they put, I mean, it's literally a 540i, like bored and stroked with individual throttle bodies and like better wheels and stuff. It's just like they just pimped out a car,
went for it,
that was not supposed to be a track day special, and they really nailed it.
It's kind of weird. Speaking of track days, like I feel like in the '90s, there like just wasn't like track driving didn't really seem like that big of a thing.
You think so, or the people is just more of like kind of a little niche kind of enthusiast thing.
Like, I mean, there was like the Integra Type R, which was sort of made for that.
And like spec groups, like Miata, spec Miata. Yeah, and I guess there
was the Cobra R.
Yeah,
they were like very limited.
Yeah, if they made a track car, like Cobra R is a good example. It was kind of a weird person that bought it. Right. You know, it was like a nerd. And it was no different than what they sell today. It was just like totally stripped out. Like, you've got to be very dedicated to buy this. But yeah, like if you were into tracking your car back then, you were like old school like track guy.
I was so young because I was like 10. Yeah. But I don't know if there were like track days a big thing in the 90s or even the 80s.
I don't know. I'd love if there's any like people who know
any of the old school.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they existed.
Yeah.
I just remember like I'm taking my IROC to Laguna Seca or taking my IROC to...
I mean, there were tracks. Yeah, tracks
they existed. I don't remember if like people were there every weekend in their own cars just going at it.
I would love it if someone would write some like paragraph comment
telling us how wrong we are,
or just what it was like. Yeah, because I don't know, because we weren't around, and I just don't.
Carl, if you
Carl, come through for us on this one. Hit Wikipedia. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. Because
today we saw that Bugatti.
Oh yeah, Bugatti just released.
And it's like whatever. This is their track.
yeah. Everyone's got a track day thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I feel like the track day just wasn't really a thing 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's like, it's hard to know without the internet. That has changed so much.
Right.
But like, I feel like now you make...
I know obviously autocross has been big for... I mean, there's like...
Yeah, that's kind of been old school.
That's been around for a long time.
The CCA's been around.
Guys in like Triumphs and stuff like that.
They must have been around.
Yeah, just maybe not.
It must have just been kind of the cool little...
Right. It wasn't to the degree it was.
Yeah, certainly not. It's weird now because it feels like cars are made... Like, the audience probably isn't that much bigger. Are track days that much more popular?
I don't know. Or maybe just people like talking about them.
My guess is that the increase in track cars that are offered is not proportional to the increase in people that go to track
I think
days.
it's more like an image investment.
I think it is very profitable manufacturer image-wise to make a track car
right
now.
It shows that you take the enthusiasts.
Because you're going to be, the battleground is like Motor Trend.
Right.
You know, it's like
YouTube,
whoever can like win
on
this comparison test is going to make their brand look better.
Right, that's essentially tons of advertising.
It's because it's a ton of advertising. Because it's like specs really, not specs horsepower, but also specs like Nürburgring. Oh man, Nürburgring. I actually said it wrong. It's in my mind wrong. The Nürburgring.
Buy our shirt, by the way.
Yeah. We should put a link to that shirt elsewhere. The only link to buy that shirt is in that one take video in the description. Anyways.
Someday.
But like track times for that are like such a
huge.
It's a huge deal. Like who goes to the Nürburgring? No one.
It's all like bragging rights.
It's bragging rights, but about a thing you'll never do. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like I was thinking about how we kind of bagged on Chevy the other podcast about like their cars, like what is it about their cars? It's like I think they are chasing those bragging rights a little bit too much. I think that's what's going on is that they're making cars that aren't fundamentally aimed at just like, damn, this thing's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I mean they still are, but it's like they're aimed more at like this thing better be on
the
top at the next
Motor
whatever. Trend driver's car of the year or whatever thing. Like they feel a little specced out.
Yeah, which is that's another weird thing is like the person that I've gone to the track a few times in a couple of different cars and it's a ton of fun. But like no, I mean maybe it's just because I suck and I'm like pretty new at it. But it's like not once did I ever come like, man, my car is so fast. Like my car is so much faster than that guy on that because
oh man, I'm gonna chase that guy down in the pits.
It's like
talk a bunch of crap.
Like most track days are like very tame and like you'll pass people in cars that are like much better than yours.
Yeah, they don't care
because you're more comfortable or just have bigger balls.
You're just
and then there'll be guys in like a much weaker car.
Yeah,
just come and like so like. The Camaro being this many tenths faster than the Mustang feels like a very weird...
cares?
Yeah.
Once I think I've ever seen like a video of Boss 302 chasing down Camaro, like kind of a magazine-worthy thing going down.
It's very rare.
And I'm sure after the fact it was all fun and games in the pit. They were probably just
like I remember there when I went to the track a couple months ago in the GTI, there was a guy in like an i8, a BMW i8, which is... I guess that's a pretty serious. I mean, pretty fast. It's not a
reasonably
car,
fast,
but like, going very slow, being very timid, which is fine. I mean, that's better than out on the street. And then like I would think, oh man, I'm much more confident. And then like there'd be a guy in like in a Miata, or
just getting it
just like okay, I'm getting out of your way. And like never once I think, oh, my car is like, I'm glad I got this car.
Yeah. Oh, it was really worth it to get the Camaro over the Mustang.
Right. Yeah.
Because this thing's so much faster. Yeah, at the end of the day, the thing that is going to make a car sell, and maybe this wraps up everything we've been talking about, is when people drive it and they're just like, this thing is so insanely fun to drive in every situation.
Yes.
And that is GT350R. I've still never driven one, but everything I've read is just like, I can't get enough of driving this thing.
It's a car that's like nailed both sides of it.
And it happens to be incredible on the track.
Right, yeah.
But it's like... people love driving it, and now people can't. They sell them before they're made.
Right.
Like you still can't find them.
Yeah, you can't. Just
years later, I don't even bother looking
because they still make it. I guess they do.
They still make it. Yeah. I hope they keep making it, but it's probably stays are probably limited.
Especially one of the GT500.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But it's like there's got to be someone at Ford who,
or at least there was.
Or was, right. But like you can tell it's in their design process for people to go like, nah, this doesn't feel right, or something, or like whatever. Someone's willing to step up, or that the design environment is conducive to like, guys, these brakes just don't feel right, or something like that, or it's just like I don't know, but like I'm jumping on these things and I don't like it. You know, that kind of feedback.
Keep working on it.
They're clearly dialing it in. Because it's no accident that thing's that good.
Right.
It's not like, whoops, this thing's super fun.
Found lightning in a bottle.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's like they did a good job and it's like, it's no mistake. And they're good for you. This is what happens. People line up to buy that thing when it's that good.
Right.
Where if it's pure specs.
Yeah. That's why the
like,
Camaro 1LE, which I love.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I came very close to getting one.
It's an amazing
a month
car.
or two ago. And that's why you can find them right now, a year old, for 10 to 12 grand cheaper than what they were.
That one's still crazy because it is really fun to drive.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just not.
It's all just the Camaro-ness of it.
So, I mean, maybe that's the, like, small rear-wheel drive car thing. It's like the ATS-V, I don't recall anyone saying, like, I get home and I want to go around the block again in this thing. It's like, there is room for someone to make a small rear-wheel drive, simple car.
Especially as it seems, you know, sedans, like Ford is obviously not going to work on sedans anymore, at least.
Yeah.
Like, so why would you, develop something cool, like, that people get excited about.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so don't sell the Fusion, don't sell
Okay, no one
whatever.
liked those? Make one that they do.
Right.
You know.
Or, I mean, just more like that type of car is turning into more of a niche segment.
Yeah.
So make something like really special.
Yeah, you may as well.
Use the Mustang platform and make a sport sedan.
Yeah, I think Ford could do it. Like,
Well,
if any company could really do it.
They have
like,
everything. I mean, they could make an actually interesting Lincoln for once.
Yeah, totally. They could totally bring back the Falcon or something.
Right.
Like, bring a name back.
I mean, even,
sure.
let's say Australia had a Falcon. I mean, which was essentially kind of what we're talking about. Which they recently stopped making those. Yeah. As well, along with the Commodore.
Yeah, or maybe we're just way the fuck off.
Maybe people want more like X5M package.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Scott's back.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a good place to.
That's a good enough place. So we'll be here 2 more days.
Yeah, we'll probably go to the track and maybe do some other things.
Finish up some other stuff. And
maybe we'll do another one of these tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, depending on how things go.
All right.
We may or may not.
I can feel it. Yeah, I can feel it. Okay. Well.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed staying at our Airbnb with us.
Making yourself at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk to you again soon.
Cool. See you at Lamar. All right. See you.